Hey guys, CW Hollow One here. Welcome back to another video. And today we're on my computer since the first time since my Besiege video. Of course, this time it's on a laptop, so it's a little bit different, a little bit slower, and a little bit touchier. But today we're in a program called Autodesk Revit. Now, Revit is a program that I've been using a lot in school. I've also been using it in my free time, which a couple of people don't like me for, but that sucks to be them. But I have a lot of fun designing stuff in this program. This is something I designed. This is an 8-deck high window for a starship that I designed, kind of to be in the Star Trek universe because I'm hoping to write a Star Trek series. I've kind of gotten started. I need a lot more time, which is something I don't have because school. But I'm a huge Trekkie, so I made this thing. This is what we're going to be using as our example today. So as you can see, I'm quite happy with this. I mean, I'll eventually be going in and adding new things and stuff like that. But I mean, it looks relatively nice. You get the basic shape. You got all the basic doors and the windows and the lights and all that. But I want this to be a little bit more high quality. So the way I'm going to do that is through something called a rendering. Now, you got a sneak preview of what it is up here. Renderings basically take your image of whatever you have. We'll be going into cameras and stuff in a minute. It's going to be taking that image and it's going to be making it a very high quality, which really improves the look. And you're almost towards the end of a project when you start doing renderings, which is a great feeling. Or if you're like me and you just do renderings all the time because it's fun and you want to see where your project's at. So to make a rendering, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go make a camera. Now, what we're going to do to make a camera is go into our floor plan. This is on deck 1. So this is the floor plan that we want to make our camera. Now, the way I'm going to be describing this is as though the camera is where I'm standing. So there's two ways to get your camera. The first is to go to the View tab, as you see here. Click this down arrow on the little house and go to Camera. The way I prefer to do it is using this little house icon up here, which if you click this will take you straight to your 3D view. But if you click the little drop-down tab, you can click Camera, and you get this little cute little camera icon. Now this is basically where you're going to be standing, like I said. And what you're going to do is you're going to click, and that's where you're standing, and then you're going to click where you're looking. Now, this little blue line, as I said, is basically where you're looking. And wherever you click here, so let's say I want to look from this dining area out to the, let's say out the massive window. So I'm going to take the focal point, and just for time's sake, I'm going to make it so that that top blue line is out of the window. Also behind a wall slightly so that you don't really have too big of an issue with a white background, which I will show you later. We're just going to click again. Computer's going to do its thing. That was a lot of S's in that sentence. And you can see we have this image. Now, I'm going to go down to here and click Realistic View. This will give me a slightly better look at what I'm looking at. So you can see here, that's the basic shape of it. I'm going to rename this. This is currently 3D View 4. I'm going to rename this as Dining, excuse my spelling, Dining Area to Window. And click OK. So that's now our thing. I made one earlier in a failed attempt at making this video. This is the one I'm going to be using as an example. So basically, here's your image. This is the one I will be showing you rendered. I'm going to be using this one to show you how to make a rendering. So there's two types of renderings. You can do a standard rendering, which makes it straight onto your desktop, basically, or you can do a render in cloud, which allows you to render it in Google, basically, or Firefox, or whatever you use. So you click Render in Cloud. Typically, after you sign in to Autodesk, you'll get a screen that gives you all the steps for how to do it. And you can just ignore that screen because that's what I'm going to be teaching you. So just click OK on that screen, and it'll take you to this. So up here is your view. So it'll default to the view that you're in. So right now I'm in dining area window, so it defaults to dining area window, or dining area to window. Output type, the two I mainly do is still image and panorama. I will show you both of them in a bit. The render quality, I just leave it at standard because I do a lot of renderings. Image size, leave it default. Exposure, leave it default. File format, I just leave it a PNG, and I don't check that. So I basically just keep all the defaults. Down here is your estimated wait time. So this tells you roughly how long it'll take. It doesn't typically take 10 minutes. Depending on the computer that you're on, it'll take anywhere between 2 and 5, maybe, depending on how much details packed in. Obviously, there's not much in this rendering, so it should go relatively quickly. But you're just going to click render. It's going to do its thing, and then up here you can see where it says render gallery. So if you have an Autodesk account and you're signed into this Autodesk account, you can go to your render gallery. Clicking on that will take you to this page. This is all your rendering. So if you're wondering what the school project was I was talking about, it's this. It's basically just a house that we had to design. Here's an example of a rendering. This is a panorama rendering, so we can move around by clicking and holding and dragging around and all that fun stuff. That's not what we're focusing on. We're focusing on this project. So here's an example of another panorama image of the project that we are working on. Like I said, you just click down and hold, and you can look around and all that. You can look up at the ceiling and hope that your scroll bar doesn't go nuts. And you can look around. The other one is the still image. Now, as a reference point, I'm going to go back to dining area patio. If my computer stops freaking out. Oh, shush. I know. Sometimes it says that it can't render a certain image because that texture is in a completely different area of my project. I don't have to worry about it right now. But I'm going to go back to dining area patio. So this is the image that I said I was going to be showing you the rendering of. So this is it pre-rendered. After the rendering, it looks like this. Now, this is a relatively low quality rendering because it was set to standard. Now, if you set it to final, you're going to get higher qualities. If you mess around with other settings, you're going to get higher qualities. This is just the default. This is what I use. But as you can tell, this has a lot nice. It has a lot nicer of a look than this, which is why I like the renderings. So if you want another example, here's another panorama. These things are great. I love renderings. But yeah, so if you want to add, so the only way to get the panoramas, or the way to get the panoramas is you just go to that still tab, click on the drop down tab, you get panorama, and you do that. But the renderings, I like the renderings because they add that little nice touch. It's a good finishing point to your project. It's a great thing to do. I would definitely recommend it. I love Autodesk Revit, by the way. So if you want to mess around with that, by all means. But yeah, so that is how to do renderings in Autodesk Revit. So I am CW Hollow 1, and have a good day, or maybe good night in your case. See ya.